I'm sitting in my cramped den in my little studio apartment in downtown Chicago, the kind of place where the walls are thin enough to hear the neighbors' arguments and the dull train rattles the windows every 15 minutes. The lease agreement for the condo is clutched in my hands like a grenade about to go off. It's the one my best friend Tanya bought, or should I say, we bought, with the chunk of my inheritance from Aunt Millie. My palms are slick with sweat, not from fury just yet, but from a grief so profound it feels like it's drowning me from the inside out. We've been inseparable since college at Northwestern, Tanya and me, through bad breakups, job losses, even that god-awful road trip to Vegas where we lost everything but our laughter. But now everything's crumbling. Through the paper-thin wall that separates my den from the living room, where Tanya's crashing on my pull-out couch while they finalize things, I hear her on a video call with her fiancé, Derek. Her voice is bubbling with that infectious excitement she gets when life's handing her a win, the kind that used to make me grin ear to ear. It's ours, love, the condo, closing today. Can you believe it? High ceilings, that killer balcony overlooking the lake. We're finally out of that shoebox rental. She squeals, and I can picture her twirling her engagement ring, the one Derek proposed with last Christmas. It was me who helped pick it out, whispering in his ear that Tanya loved emeralds more than diamonds. Her laughter rings out, sharp and joyful, echoing our late-night dorm giggles over cheap wine and dreams of the future. And get this, your girl Rhonda, she's gonna adore the guest room with the city lights view. You know how she's always dreamed of a spot like that, especially with her health stuff? It'll be perfect for her. My world tilts on its axis, the room spinning like I've been sucker punched. Rhonda? Derek's bubbly cousin from Milwaukee? The one who's always popping in unannounced with her vegan smoothies and unsolicited life advice? She's getting the guest room? The one I envisioned for myself, with the floor-to-ceiling windows where I could sip coffee and watch the sunrise over Lake Michigan? The spot where I'd finally feel like I belonged after years of being the third wheel? Me? I whisper to the empty air, my voice barely a breath. What about me, Tanya? What about your best friend? I press my ear closer to the wall, heart hammering like a drum in a thunderstorm. I shouldn't eavesdrop, but I can't stop. Nah, my bestie's totally set in her studio, Tanya says, her tone casual, like she's discussing takeout options. You know how she is, picky about everything, always nitpicking the little stuff. This way it'll be peaceful for us, the future kids, and Rhonda. Like true family vibes, you know? True family vibes. The words slam into me like a freight train, piercing my chest with shards of ice. True family? After everything? I, who cashed out half my inheritance from Aunt Millie, the $18,000 that was supposed to be my safety net after she passed from that long battle with cancer last year? I skipped my own dreams, put off that trip to Europe I'd saved for, all to float Tanya this dream condo. And now I'm not part of the true family? I'm the outsider, the picky one who's better off alone in my dingy studio with the leaky faucet and the view of a brick wall?
Memories crash over me like waves on Lake Michigan during a storm. It was just 4 months ago, right here in this very den, turned into a makeshift office with my laptop and stacks of bills. Tanya had shown up unannounced, eyes red-rimmed from crying, Derek hovering awkwardly in the doorway. "Tea, it's perfect," she'd said, spreading out the real estate listings on my coffee table like a treasure map. Loft style, balcony for summer barbecues, urban buzz without the chaos. But we need $18,000 for the down payment. The market's hot, and if we don't jump now... Her voice had trailed off, those big brown eyes pleading like they did back in college when she'd beg me to cover her share of rent. "I'll pay you back in a year, swear on our friendship bracelet," she'd promised, holding up her wrist with a faded pink and blue bead still hung, a relic from freshman year. "And your home base forever, T. We'll have girls' nights on the balcony, watch the fireworks over Navy Pier. You'll have your own key, your own space when life gets too much." I remember journaling it that night, my heart soaring like a kite in the wind. Finally, after years of being the tag-along best friend, the one who planned the surprise parties but never got invited to the inner circle, I'd have roots, a place to crash when the loneliness hit, shared brunches with mimosas, aging together like those Golden Girls reruns we binged. I'd pictured it all, my books on the shelves, my favorite mug in the kitchen, laughter echoing off those high ceilings. But now? Did you tell her we're keeping it just us yet? Derek's voice cuts through the call like a knife through butter. That Rhonda needs the stability more. I mean, your friend's great and all, but she's got that nitpicky vibe, always questioning our choices, like with the wedding venue. Nitpicky. Hard to live with. Me? The one who covered Tanya's rent for 6 months after her divorce from that sleazeball ex, who loaned her money for therapy sessions when she was spiraling, who hosted every crisis with open arms and no questions asked, the one who never demanded a dime back because that's what best friends do. They lift each other up. I slide down the wall to the floor, the carpet rough against my back, staring at the ceiling fan whirring lazily above. Outside, the city lights blur through the window like tears I refuse to let fall. I won't cry, not yet. 25 years of scraping by as a freelance graphic designer in this cutthroat city, pitching ideas to clients who ghosted, pulling all-nighters for deadlines, eating ramen and skipping vacations, all to build that nest egg. Also, I wouldn't be a burden, so I'd have security in my 40s when the gigs dried up. And now, it turns out I'm the burden anyway? They keep talking, plotting like conspirators in a bad spy movie. We could suggest she looks into one of those efficient senior studios downtown. Something more affordable, in line with her needs, once we're settled. Affordable? Her needs? As if my needs don't include the warmth of friendship, the security of knowing I'm not alone in this sprawling, indifferent city. As if my $18,000 was just a handout, not a sacrifice from the heart. The call ends with kisses blown through the screen, and I hear Tanya's footsteps padding toward the den. I scramble up, pretending to sort through mail, bills, junk flyers, anything to look busy. She pokes her head in, all smiles, her curly hair tied back in that effortless way that always makes her look like a magazine cover. Hey, T! Condo papers are in! Official! New chapter, right? She leans in for a hug, her perfume, that sweet vanilla scent we picked out together, wafting over me like a mockery.
Yeah, congrats, I manage. My voice steady, even as my insides churn. Excited for you guys. She plants a kiss on my cheek, quick and affectionate like always. But now it feels like Judas's betrayal, cold and calculated. Couldn't have done it without you, bestie. Seriously, you're a lifesaver. Without me. But also without me in the future. How ironic. She bounces back to the living room, humming some pop tune, and I'm left alone with the lease papers trembling in my grip. I fold them carefully and tuck them into a drawer, the one where I keep important docs, birth certificate, passport, and now, apparently, my shattered trust. That night, sleep evades me like a ghost in the wind. I toss on my lumpy mattress, staring at the cracks in the ceiling, replaying every red flag I ignored. The times Tanya borrowed money for emergencies and forgot to repay. $3,000 for a Vegas bachelorette trip that turned into a disaster. $7,000 to start her Etsy shop that fizzled out. $9,000 for medical bills after her appendectomy. I called it helping a friend. She called it nothing because it was never mentioned again. The sidelined girls' nights where I'd wait by the phone only to get a text, rain check, Derek wants date night. The birthdays where my gift was an afterthought while Rhonda's got shout-outs on Instagram. By dawn, the first light filtering through my blinds like hesitant fingers, I'm done wallowing. Something cold and resolute settles in my chest, like steel forging in fire. I brew coffee, strong, black, no sugar, and sit at my tiny kitchen table with my old notebook. It's where I sketch designs, but today it's for something else, a ledger of betrayal. I list it all, pens scratching paper like nails on a chalkboard. $3,000, Vegas bailout in 2018, never repaid. $7,000, Etsy startup in 2020. It'll boom, T, promise! $9,000, hospital bills in 2022. You're my rock. $500 here for car repairs, $1,200 there for a new laptop, $2,000 for wedding flowers, even though I wasn't maid of honor, Rhonda was. The total hits me like a slap. $37,000 over a decade. $37,000. That's rent for years, a down payment on my own place, trips I never took. All for what? For being the invisible best friend, the one who's always there but never truly seen. For obligatory coffee dates where she monologues about her life and I nod like a bobblehead. For grandchildren I'll never meet because true family doesn't include the spinster pal. I close the notebook with a snap that echoes in the quiet apartment. Time to act. I head to my bedroom, more like a closet with a bed, and pull out the lockbox from under the mattress. Inside, my will, drafted 2 years ago after Aunt Millie's death scared me into planning. Everything to Tanya, my studio, paid off with freelance blood and sweat, my savings account, even Aunt Millie's pearl necklace in the bank's safe deposit box, because she's my chosen family, my sister from another mister. How utterly naive. The sun's up now, casting golden rays across the floor, but it does nothing to warm the chill in my bones. My phone buzzes. It's Tanya, texting from the living room like she's too lazy to walk 10 feet. Morning, sunshine. Derek and I were chatting. Wonder if you could spot us a little extra, like $2,000 for closing costs we didn't anticipate, paint, furniture tweaks, to make it perfect before move-in next week. Next week? They hadn't even told me the timeline, hadn't invited me to tour the place I'd half funded. My fingers hover over the screen, rage bubbling like lava. But I breathe deep, channeling that steel resolve. I fire up my ancient laptop, the one Tanya mocked as vintage last month. Logging into my bank account takes forever on the spotty Wi-Fi, but there it is. After the $18,000 transfer, $7,300 left in savings. A thin buffer between me and eviction if gigs dry up. I dial the bank, heart pounding like it's auditioning for a drum solo. Good morning, First Chicago Bank. How can I assist? Hi, I'd like to make changes to my account. My voice is calm, professional, like I'm designing a logo, not dismantling a friendship. After verifying my info, the teller asks, "What changes, Miss Thompson?" Remove Tanya Ramirez as beneficiary. Cancel any linked access she has. I pause, then add, and open a new savings account, separate. Transfer $7,000 into it. There's a beat of silence, then, understood, family changes. Something like that. Personal earthquake, more like. By the time I hang up, it's done. $7,000 in a secret account, untouchable. Control floods back, sweet as honey after bitterness. Next, the lawyer. I Google estate attorneys Chicago and book a slot for noon with a firm downtown. Michael Ellis ESQ sounds stuffy but competent from the reviews. My phone rings. It's Tanya, voice laced with faux concern. T, are you okay? That text was weird. You've never needed to think before. I'm fine, I lie, staring out at the bustling street below, people hurrying to jobs, lives intertwined yet separate. Just checking balances. I'll let you know in a few days. A few days? But we need it by tomorrow. The realtor's pushing. Her voice grains like nails on glass. I'll call when I decide. Click. I power off the phone, the silence golden. The next 3 days are a whirlwind of empowerment wrapped in isolation. Tanya blows up my voicemail. Worried texts turn to frantic calls. Even Derek chimes in with, "Hey sis from another miss, everything cool?" I ignore them all, using the time to plan. Wednesday morning, I turn the phone on. 32 missed calls, 18 texts. Each one a nail in the coffin of our old dynamic. T, seriously worried, call me. Tanya, 8 a.m. Tuesday. Jamel, wait, no, T, this is Derek. Tanya's freaking out. Bestie, if this is about the condo, we can chat. Maybe carve out space for you too, but help with the 2K first. Tanya, 6 a.m. today. Carve out space, like I'm an afterthought, a consolation prize. I dress carefully, jeans that fit just right, a blouse that says confident, minimal makeup to hide the shadows under my eyes. First stop, the bank in person, to confirm changes and set up that P.O. box for statements. Miss Patel, the teller, nods knowingly. Smart move, ma'am. We've seen it before, protecting assets. I leave with a weight lifted. $7,000, now my fortress. Noon, Attorney Ellis's office in the Loop, all glass and steel like the city itself. He's older, kind eyes behind wire rims. Miss Thompson, you want to revise your will. I spill it all, objectively at first, then the emotions creep in. The betrayal, the tally, the overheard call. He listens, nodding, no judgment. Not uncommon, sadly. What changes? Split it. Half to Tanya, but conditional. Regular check-ins, inclusion in her life, no more loans. The other half to charities for women rebuilding after betrayal. Maybe domestic abuse shelters, since emotional abuse counts too. He jots notes. We can draft conditions, visits quarterly, financial transparency. Meet next week? Leaving his office, hunger hits me. Not the gnawing emptiness of betrayal, but real appetite. Instead of my usual P&J at home, I duck into a cozy bistro on Michigan Avenue. Solo dining? Haven't done it in years. Outings were always with Tanya, me footing the bill. Today, pasta carbonara, a glass of Chardonnay. $40 total, tip included. It tastes like freedom. Each bite a declaration. I matter. Phone buzzes mid-meal. Tanya again. Can't take this. Coming over at 4 p.m. We need to talk. It's 3:15. I pay, tip generously, and stroll home, the magnificent mile buzzing around me. Shoppers, tourists, life pulsing. No fear, just anticipation. At 4:50, I'm in my favorite armchair by the window, overlooking the river dyed green from last St. Patty's Day. At 4 sharp, knocking. Urgent, like a heartbeat out of sync. I open the door. Tanya's there, eyes puffy, Derek behind looking sheepish. T, thank God, we were terrified. She lunges for a hug, but I step back, gentle but firm. Come in, I say, voice even. They shuffle to the couch, the one that's seen our movie marathons and heart-to-hearts. Why ghost us? Tanya bursts out. You've never done this. Is it the money? We can pay back, eventually. I sit across, hands folded. It's not just the money, Tanya. It's everything. I overheard your call with Derek about Rhonda getting the guest room, about me being picky, not part of your true family, about suggesting I find a senior studio once you had my cash. Her face drains of color, Derek shifting uncomfortably. T, that's not... We were just venting. Stress from the move. Venting? My voice rises, emotion cracking through. Venting about the woman who gave you $37,000 over the years, who was there for every low? That's not venting, that's betrayal. Tears well in her eyes. I'm sorry, we messed up. Derek and I talked. We want you to move in. Guest room's yours, promise. I laugh bitter and raw.